Hey everyone, and welcome back to Apocalypse Movies and the movie watching challenge here on the channel. If you're not familiar with this segment of the show, this is where we get to challenge each other to watch movies we've never seen before. It's very self-explanatory. And last week, I was challenged by Gio Ramos to watch Enter the Dragon, the Bruce Lee led film, from the late 1970s. A movie that, yes, in fact, I have never seen. A lot of people in the chat 2 weeks ago really got after me for not having seen it. And I officially got my first experience with Bruce Lee. Believe it or not, this was my first ever Bruce Lee film. I don't know why. It's just I didn't grow up on martial arts films. It's something that I've become a lot more familiar with over the last 5 years or so. I've really dove into this genre, much more modern day stuff because of the films like Raid 2, and a lot of other movies that are in that genre. And I just haven't had time or had the chance to go back and watch Bruce Lee's films. And so now that I have my first official experience, there could be a domino effect where I really dive into these movies and get to experience Bruce Lee as many people have over the decades. And I could say Enter the Dragon, I know that he has a lot of movies on his resume that a lot of people love, but it almost feels like this is the one that really stands out above the rest. I'm not 100% sure on that. Don't quote me. That's just from my experience and my experience alone. But I will say that it feels like a great movie to start with. The movie's awesome. It's a lot of fun. It has its dark moments. It has a really good meaning behind it. Bruce Lee kicks a lot of butt in it. You really get to see his ability on screen and what he's able to do as not just an actor, but also a martial artist. The two blend. And he's known as the greatest of all time because of that reason. And I think the movie does a great job of showing that. I thought a lot of the action and the fighting, not not Lee included, was very well done as well. I thought a lot of the actors and actresses did a great job portraying that side of film in a very, very strong way. I love the story, kind of him going undercover, getting the secrets. The movie was very fast paced. It moved very quickly. It wasn't a super long movie, which I enjoy, but again, it is the 70s, so I don't expect a 2+ hour movie. And yeah, I mean, there's not like, oh, it's funny because like when I try to review movies, I obviously want to get into some detail and talk about maybe some spoilers or like this happened or this happened, but the movie's super straightforward. There's not really like a whole lot to talk about. There's some really cool, brutal deaths in there. There's a lot of stuff off screen that they don't show, like stepping on necks or whatever it may be, as far as killing some of the characters. But it's just a really cool martial artist film from the 1970s. I love Bruce Lee's like super exaggerated reactions to punches and getting punched and stuff. And that's what I love about this genre. That's what it's supposed to be, right? It's supposed to be a little over the top in moments. And I love certain moments where he's like punching or kicking, he's making all these sounds, and he's like feeling himself, right? And again, I don't have an experience with Bruce Lee. And it's crazy to think about after all the movies I've watched, but his is the most unknown to me. And now getting that experience and really knowing what it feels like, I'm excited to dive into the other movies that he's featured in, other project that he's worked on over his career. But I do feel like Enter the Dragon was the best movie to start with. I'm not sure. I got to look on the filmography side of it all, where it lands, the beginning and the end. Maybe it's the very first, maybe it's the last, maybe it's in the middle. I'm not sure. But I'm super excited to look into it and dive more into the Bruce Lee aspect of it all. Not just because I enjoyed it, but because he's so renowned around the film industry, right? Like a lot of people go back to him and his films and his fighting style and what he did as an actor and a martial artist for what we're doing today. So that's a big reason why I want to go back. I kind of want to take a look at it compared to what people are doing today. Who is influenced by him? Is everyone influenced by him? Who has picked what? And it leaves me excited to go back and dive into some more Bruce Lee films. And I don't think Gio knew that going in when he challenged me, that I've actually never seen a Bruce Lee movie before. So A+ on this end, man. I thought that was great. Thank you again for challenging me. I know you've been trying for a very, very long time, and the format has worked where you were straight on able to challenge me this time. And it's an absolute success, excuse me. So yeah, the second part of this now that I have watched it, allows me to challenge someone else in the crew. Because Gio challenged me last time, And because I challenged Jacob the time before that, I'm going to leave it up to either Brian or Keith on this one. I really do have a great pick of the litter with these. Keith and I are very similar in films, but there's a lot of movies that I've seen that he hasn't, and vice versa with the two of us. And Brian, on the other hand, just has a lot of options to choose from. And I kind of went back and on what I have challenged before, also thinking which played the most important part, what kind of movies have been challenged recently? It's been a lot of like great all timers, super serious, sit down and enjoy Oscar worthy films. And I know Jacob has particularly been challenged to a lot of those over the recent few challenges. So I wanted to kind of get a layback feeling, a lot more fun, a movie that I thoroughly enjoy every single time I watch it. And that's why I'm going to be challenging Brian this time. And look, I could have challenged him to a movie that he needs to see that is like an all timer or an Oscar winner or whatever. But I wanted to give him a little bit of a break, and I want to have let him have a little fun on a movie that is so quotable, so memorable, and again something that I enjoy every single time that is on, and that is Eurotrip. Brian has never seen Eurotrip. It feels like a Brian movie, and it's a favorite of mine. I mean, Miscusi, and that's not where I parked my car. And there's so many lines Scotty doesn't know that come from this movie, with a lot of nice surprises in it. And so I hopefully Brian has a really good time with this one. And it's pretty shocking that him out of all of us is the one to not see it. So crossing my fingers, he comes ready next week. Excited to talk about Eurotrip. But for now, yeah, Brian, enjoy it. Your challenge to Eurotrip. Gio, you did a great job with Enter the Dragon. I really appreciate it. Now I'm going to go on a Bruce Lee binge, and that is completely your fault. So, but yeah, that's going to wrap up the movie watching challenge today, everybody. I am Jake. I'm part of Apocalypse here. I'm one of the crew members. And again, if you're interested in anything Apocalypse, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. You get more content just like this on a weekly basis. On Tuesdays, actually, 7 o'clock Pacific, we do our main show, Apocalypse Now, and we break down movies. We have fun. We do fantasy drafts, which we haven't done in a while, but we're doing something cool tonight, and that is a Batman movie villain bracket. Yeah, we're going to decide on who the all-time best Batman movie villain is. There might be an obvious answer. There may not be an obvious answer. But if you hit that subscribe button, you'll get notified when we go live. You can join us in the chat, comment along, have fun with us. We really appreciate it. We also do a lot of other cool things here. All these shows down here, Casting Table, Fandalorian Club, and Marvel Rewind, which will be coming back very, very soon with Moon Knight, all on the channel. So check that out, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. As always, I'll catch you guys next time.